Ready to go? White eye, bushy tailed and all raring to get at it? Yes, I didn't think so. Right, now if you've tuned into this to get the film, which is somewhere, the film which is, oh, Nailsworth, yeah, we're going to spend some time in Nailsworth in Stroud for a week or so now. So if you've tuned in just to watch that, you're going to have to jump forward about 20 minutes and pick it up there. But meanwhile, we're going to have our usual conference on the comments and matters arising, which means that we're going to look at the last two films that we've put out and then get your pearls of wisdom regarding what we saw. And it's all exciting stuff. Now the first film that we look at then is The Linesman's Tale. That was my uncle, my late uncle, who I produced this film for because he used to be a linesman. And yes, he did enjoy it. Which Jim Nichols from New Zealand said, must have made your uncle happy. Yeah, it did. And now it's entertained a few more of us, he said. Oh, that's good. Well done, Jim. Thank you very much for that. Nick didn't say where he's from, but he said there are no preserved line anywhere near me. But were that the case, I'd volunteer in the blink of an eye. How many two? I don't know. Two mines really. A lot of branches weren't there, but most of them have closed down and gone. And would you believe it? Trev's out straight away. Look. I thought he couldn't fly because he had a bad shoulder. Well, shows how wrong you can be. Paul, West Country Wanderings. Paul's still sending out films every week. And he must love research, Paul, loves it. Because the amount of information you get out of his channel is amazing, absolutely amazing. He said those 40 minutes whizzed by. Really good to hear about other Parkinson's walks, family members. Yes, well done. So if you come on here long enough, often enough, you'll get absorbed into the family. Trev. Your bit, Trev. He said, reference your Uncle Fred. I have some appreciation of the arduous job he would have had to have from my volunteer work, because Trev volunteers on, what's the name of that railway? It escapes me at the minute. However, he says, I only do 1 day a week, and not even that if I have other commitments or the weather is inclement. You wimp, Trev, you wimp. Poor old Fred would have had no choice, of course. With regard to track safety, you were quite right. If a train is coming, you must get off to the side track. This area is known as the cess. Excuse me. I only started yet. I'm croaking. Right, then Trev goes on and explains all the safety rules and implications of walking the rails and whatnot. Really good read. Go and read Trev's comment. Brilliant it is. I read it twice straight off. Malcolm says, linesman, unsung and mostly unseen. Yep, true. They wouldn't be unseen now because they all got high vis on, haven't they? But in those days they were unseen. It's so vital for the running of the railway. At times it must have been an arduous life, he says, walking the tracks in all weathers, yeah, day and night, without the aid of a mobile phone or within easy reach of transport. Yeah, it's hard times, but then they knew no other, I suppose. Might make it a bit better. Engage on a shelf, whose dad was an engine driver, so he knows stuff, says, there was another little perk of working for the railways. People would dump their green waste from the garden over the fence and onto the embankments, some of which came from a vegetable patch, and some of which would survive and grow the following year, giving the railway workers a free supply of veg. Brilliant. Pete Payne. Our Pete said, I'm lucky enough to have two home signals, both GWR. Wait a minute, hang on. Oh, both GWR, lower quadrant. One is a pre-1930 type with a wooden arm, which is on the wall of my workshop. Well, I wonder how many there were. I wonder where it went. What a mess, what a mess. I was just having a run at that, Pete. I'm lucky enough to have two home signals, both GWR lower quadrant. One is a pre-1930s type with a wooden arm, which is in the wall of my workshop. I wonder where it was and how many trains it signalled. Yeah, it's alright buying these objects, but you have to sit down and think about them, don't you? Get the best out of them, really. Yeah, I wonder. Michael, all the way from Poland. Friday, 1st of August. A big day in Warsaw today. 81st anniversary of the beginning of the Warsaw Uprising, which began at 5 p.m. on the 1st of the 8th, 1944. Well, and then Michael goes and fills you in with more detail of that particular event in history. Worth a read, very worth a read. He says, Uncle Fred's working life as a linesman must have been very harsh. Well, it certainly was the way he told it. Right, Lionel from Lionel and Mary Travels. You must be in your element there, he says. Watching the trains and seeing how the signalling mechanism worked. Yeah, I was lucky, wouldn't I? Down at Romsey's signal box, they have various open days throughout the year. And this coming Sunday is one of those. I doubt if Mary will want to join me, oh dear. But I will be there. Oh, well done. Yeah, get into the signal box and have a play around. Wonderful. Somerset Man walking, this is our Darren then. The story of your uncle was fantastic, he says. It seemed a very tough job indeed, especially in the winter. So I'll tell you what, they don't make them like they used to. Very true, Darren, very true. Marilyn, our Marilyn, oh, a virtual elder sister of the Parkinsons family. Wonderful lady. Very interesting, she says, to hear all the comments about Frost Cross Station plantings and all the others too. I didn't realise, to my shame, that the linesmen did so much, having assumed that they kept all the greenery down and that was it. Still no mean feat, but also points and signal maintenance. The winters were pretty severe like then too. Yeah, they always seemed to be bad, didn't they, going back. Certainly more winter than we seem to get nowadays. She said it was great to see inside the Cheltenham signal box. Yeah, I was very lucky, very fortunate. Thank you to them for letting me do that. Thank you. I had a working signal. Oh, this is the bit now. This is the bit that counts. Get ready to be filled with envy. She says, I had a working signal of my own in my garden in Gloucester, plus an attached ladder, weight and lamp. One of my big regrets was leaving it behind when we moved. I could shin up the ladder, she says, when we were lucky enough to have a team train coming into Gloucester and have a good watch. Can you imagine Marilyn shinning up the ladder? Oh, no. This week, she says, I've had 2 train rides plus walker. Yeah, Marilyn's got herself a walker. No stopping her now. Seeing your film this morning reminded me I have to get my skates on. She's talked about that and put in brackets, that would be a disaster, wouldn't it? I'm saying nothing. I'm going to start going out more before winter sets in. Wonderful memories. Yeah, we love memories on this channel. Yeah, well, don't wish the winter on us too soon, Marilyn. Charles from New Jersey, US of A. She said, I've always had an interest in the infrastructure, and you did a reasonable job of getting into the meat and potatoes of the linesman's job, the meat and potatoes. And he gave us a great interview with the tower men. And we call them signalmen. It looks like in the US of A, they call them tower men. I suppose mainly because a lot of the signal boxes are actually on towers. Could be, couldn't it? Charles says there definitely were no easy jobs on the railroad. No, true. I also wanted to note that you had a great bumper crop of delicious looking apples in that tree behind you. Yeah, they're getting about due now. We have good memories of taking the kids to one of the pick your own apple orchards in a nearby county. Another memory. Brilliant. Lovely. Claude. Claude referring back to a previous video that we did on a tunnel by the Lee Bailey. And he said, I'd like to go and see it myself, but I'm recovering from a broken hip. Oh dear. But the reason that I've included it, because it's quite an old film, that one, says, by the way, there was no gold in that mine. It was a scam to get investments. Do you remember that? Gold mine. It was a scam. Well, I'm blown. Right, now, the film last week, look at that now, was Chedworth Tunnel. And we had done Chedworth not too long ago, but everyone seems to be missing the southern portal, mainly because the landowners there don't really want people trespassing as they see it. But I've actually filmed that southern portal, so I thought I'd give you all a treat and show it to you. Malcolm then said about that video, some superb examples of railway engineering, bridges, tunnels, embankments and cuttings, all in a relatively short stretch of line through delightful wooded countryside. That's true, isn't it? It had all those features there. It must have cost an absolute blooming fortune to lay that railway, I would think. But they did it, and now it is no more. Pete Payne, what a lovely place to go exploring, he said, with lots to see. That first straining post was a work of art, wasn't it just? We don't normally see dedicated straining posts, do we? There's normally two pieces of broad gauge rail knocked together. Yeah, that was a proper one there. And then Pete goes on to say, we gave Mum a good old send-off yesterday, a real celebration of an amazing woman. Yeah, well done, Pete. Yeah, I love it. Michael from Poland. Superb video, he says. Lovely to start at that incredible bridge. And the two clips you inserted of trains brought a real, this is what it looked like. Chedworth is a lovely village. Yeah, when I filmed that, I tried to make an impact of the train shooting out of the tunnel mouth with lots of volume. And I'd forgotten that I'd done that. And when I watched it through before putting it up here the last week, it frightened me to death. And I made it, so go figure. Right, Jim, because that was a good one. I'm glad you kept away from that crumbling tunnel entrance. It was clearly not in the best of health. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be hanging about there if there was any sort of thunder, like anything rumbly that might set it off. So I couldn't be doing with that. Marilyn again then. Marilyn, what's she been up to this week? Good evening, she says, Pauline and Ron and the worldwide Parkinsons family. Hope you're all well. I hope you're all well too. She says, you always manage to find a straining post. Got to be done, Marion, got to be done. So it must have been such a scenic trip along that line. I wonder if any of your followers travelled over it. It would have to be somebody my age or even older, I guess. Well, I don't know how you are, but how old you are, Marilyn, I won't ask. But Ron from Abandoned Railways was told by his auntie that he actually travelled that line, but he was in a pram at the time. I don't know whether that counts. Possibly not. So I haven't been far this week, but today I went to Rowsley Station Cafe on the Peak Rail line and had my lunch on the platform. Unfortunately it was a non-running day, but still nice to sit there. Yeah, these heritage lines, I sometimes go out to our local one and just sit there on the station. They're such peaceful places, such places that promote so many memories. It's wonderful. Donnie says, I spot the world. I spotted that what would be termed the original part of Chedworth Tunnel had a different materials at either end. I hadn't spotted that. I'll have to get them back out there now and have a look. You reckon both portals are different? I suppose they could be. Abandoned Railways then, here's our Ron. A lovely walk around Chedworth, he says. Investigating the railway. I am reliably informed there's an electric fence somewhere across the cutting at the southern end of the tunnel. Crikey, I know the owners aren't friendly, but that's going a step too far, isn't it? They've also attempted to infill a section to prevent access to the southern portal. Ron put that down as being pathetic. I mean, if you don't want people coming around, don't go and buy a house near an interesting monument of some sort. Darren, Somerset man walking. Said I'm researching the Vale Light Railway for an upcoming attempt at a video. He said the line is actually only 6 miles long, which is 41 chains, oh well done. But I reckon I'm going to be walking double that, avoiding private land and inaccessible bits and pieces. Yeah, well, we've just covered that, haven't we? Just talking about that. Walking through brambles and stinger nettles, not in my shorts, he says. I know, learn your lesson. Although I found it interesting to research, I fear a decent video will be a bit of a nightmare. But I'll try my best given the time. Yeah, it'll be wonderful, Darren. Go for it. Sharon Idle. I haven't heard from Sharon for ages. Remember, she was encouraging us going back a while to eat stinger nettle soup. She even sent us a recipe. Good girl. Just dropped in to let you know I'm still watching pretty much every video that you make. Life is becoming busier and busier for many reasons. She was writing a book going back a while, trying to get it published, and she's got a music channel as well. So I rarely even have time and opportunity to comment these days. However, I hope you're all doing well. Good, there you are. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks for that. Charles, New Jersey, US of A. I've always had an interest in the infrastructure, he says, and you did a really good job of getting into the meat and potatoes of the line for the job. Oh dear. Well, we've covered that, haven't we? Charles, I think we've got to repeat there. And the apples, yeah. Don't know how that happened. The old printer was playing up this morning. Let's blame that. Last page, folks. David from Spain. Yeah, that was a complete look over the tunnel from end to end and looking through the post box. Simon termed that a post box, isn't it? Good old Simon. The trip through town was interesting, he said. I've done my outside chores and now I'm battening down the hatches. Oh, this is in Spain. Not because we're expecting a storm or anything, but it's the only way to keep as much heat out as we can. It really has been incessant heat and looks to continue into next week. Yeah, well we're threatened, if you like, with a heat wave, but I don't think it'll be on your scale there, David. And then to finish us off, Lionel and Mary travels. Lionel being particularly brave here. I suppose he's relying on the fact that perhaps Mary doesn't watch the videos, because he says, you go again somewhere Mary doesn't know. She wouldn't recognise a railway straining post if it jumped out and said, here I am. Brave words, Lionel. I'd actually go and hide if I were you, just in case. Right, archive film in a moment then. Nailsworth, the old Branchline. This is quite popular for some reason. I have no idea why. That's just the local people. But anyway, the Nailsworth Branchline, we're going to have a look all around there, see what we can see. And then next week, Merristock Tunnel down in the Forest of Dean. This is the one that Trev assured me was open, and that I should go down and take a look. So what was the result? Can you guess? I'll see you down there next week. Don't be late. What we're looking at today is an industrial railway. It was built to bring the goods from Nailsworth up to the main line at Stonehouse so it could get access to the wider world. It did carry passengers, so if you've got it you might just well flaunt it, but it's built more for freight and used more for freight. You have to ignore the fact that GWR had their line here which went through Stroud and on to Swindon. This is the one that we're following. Came down here. There was an actually loop up into Stroud there, and went down through this beautiful wooded valley to Nailsworth, so they could load their goods, get them out to the big wide world. We're starting this one then in a goods yard. We've got one of those. Across the road we've got one of those. We've got a high level loading and unloading door. And the end where the engines would have gone in, presumably, pushed the carriages in, had a little bit of restoration. This is the goods yard. This is this goods yard in 1962, already showing a decline in use. And the station, now a private dwelling. Nailsworth Station. Because this was predominantly a freight line, you don't get as many photographs of the station as you would normally with an old railway. It's rather a grand building, I think you'll agree. complete with that, whatever that was, is. And here you can just see the back of the platform. That's as near as we're going to get today. This is the station in 1965, so it's already closed down. This is the station on the upper level. This is the freight line on the lower level. That's where we are now. And the track bed with these rather fine houses. We head in this direction. The railway's kind of notched into the hillside here, isn't it? Dug into the side of it and then filled down the other side. Stream bed down there. While up here, I'd imagine is the station approach. Yeah. So goods traffic took the lower road and passenger traffic took the higher road. And they met about here. Double track all the way down there. Primarily built for freight. It was turned over to passenger use, but for every passenger they carried about a ton of freight, there or thereabouts. Beautiful deciduous woodland heading up there. We eventually had to find one of our railway sleeper fence posts, and there's one. Couple more down there. We're following the Nailsworth stream here, and just out there is a mill pond. Loads of mills here, so the stream was the principal source of power. I don't know if that wasp can read. Pause the video to read. The track's narrowing down at this point, so I guess from here it went single track. I don't think I've seen a prettier railway, to be honest. These are the old mills, still standing, but now used as flats. Plenty of light in those. Well, I took that to be a culvert, but in actual fact it's a rather fine underpass. Midland Railway Engineering. Little restricted for headroom maybe. We're leading off down there. And a better lit shot of the engineering involved. Somewhat pretty. All is revealed. I'm off to the side and looking down. And down there is no access to it. It's an accommodation bridge. We can see some very fine stonework there for an abutment. And also some very sturdy railway fence posts. Built for a farmer, but no doubt these days just being used or not used by the industrial units. Still a very steep bank on our right. I'm not sure if that's mill houses or a mill. Have a look at the mill. Whatever, they've got their own accommodation bridge, which fortunately we can access. It's had some repair work done on it. It's had a skim of render. I think the roofing might have seen better days, but it's holding out at the moment. It's got some blue engineering brick in it. And some stone blocks here. Then through the bridge There's this beautiful blue brick railway wall. There'll be a siding there, I would think. There are plenty along this route. But here's the piece de resistance, a genuine railway gate. Beautiful. Had a lovely finial on the top, and then various arrangements of iron bar. Stout work, still standing. Just look at that hinge. It's built to last. And there, look, the gate post, and a beautiful little wicket gate by the side of it. Same design as the main gate. That's a nice touch. Again, look at the hinge. Who was the very last person to operate that catch? Right. There's the motorbike and we'll carry on. They seem to have grabbed a bit of our track bed here. Mine is enough to get on with. As we figured down there, this was a private siding. Join the line just down there, underneath the overbridge, which was built to carry a lane. The bed of the bridge has been replaced. There's still the stone abutment there. Still looks pretty. Modern equivalent on the other side. Well, better than solid concrete, I guess. Rather pretty on the hillside. Fence is gone and we're in a cutting. Up on the hillside you can still make out the concrete posts following the line as usual. More of a cutting now. We're going to experience some noise now. Well, we've already got it, haven't we, really? This is the road bridge over the A46. We've got the modern day replacement and behind it the original. So we have a perfect opportunity to look at the two different styles. This is today's interpretation. A modern road bridge. Complete with its graffiti. It's quite good. And this is the Victorian interpretation. Lovely red brick. Wrought iron or cast? I'm not sure. It was built wide enough for double track and looks to be in beautiful condition. Not quite sure why they decided to replace this. Look at that beautiful abutment there, look, with lovely engineering brick coping stones. Fine point on the parapet there. They're gorgeous. A work of art. Elevated view of the track bed, always worth a go. Hyde Mill's on this side still, and following the Nailsworth stream. No idea. We'll carry on. With one last backward glance, Still think the earlier one is better. I would, wouldn't I? Sharp curve in the line. Still following the stream bed. Stream on one side, railway fence post on the other. One of which has been heaved up here. Oh. Took some beating, didn't it? There for the brave. That doesn't include me these days. Mind, you could pick somewhere worse, couldn't you, to get soaking wet? Still bounded by this thing on the left hand side and by that on the right. Site of Woodchester Station. And remarkably enough, there's a pile of old concrete railway sleepers. Coincidence? Here is the station master's house. A remarkable find. Right by the side of what was a crossing, a railway crossing. An integrated transport solution here. Bus stop right by where the station used to be. I wonder if there was one there during the days of steam. The entrance too. Not sure if that's original. Could be. Road led up to Woodchester. I guess most people just think of this as a path and not a railway track bed where steam engines chugged up and down on a daily basis carrying goods and passengers. A limeside wall and another level crossing, this one leading to the church. We've got the old gate post, that's about all. Actually we've got two. And we continue on along the track bed. We're crossing the stream again at this point. Look at the size of those I-beams. That's tremendous engineering. Huge, great construction. Same on the other side. Regrettably, this is the track bed today. The cutting here has been infilled and houses built over it. From that you should have got a feel for the railway. Beautiful wooded slopes, industry all around, which is what it was built for in the first place. If you enjoyed that, click on like, share or subscribe. If you decide to subscribe, don't forget to click on the bell. That way you get an email every time I post a new video. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.